it's Diane, the massage mentor with Dana Sterling. How are you?
I am excellent over here in sunny Arizona.
Love Arizona. My wife and I love going to Arizona. I actually went to Arizona for the first time just a few years ago, and she had to get me there. She had to get me there. And after she got me there, I was like, now I know why. Now I know why. Now I
Just
understand.
don't come here in June. That's all I'm saying. Not June, July, like Death Valley, you know, a little warm. Yeah.
So I like to snoop online, you know, that's how a lot of times I've found people that I've gotten the chance to talk to and spread the word about. And I found this awesome video of you that had like 9 gazillion hits. It was a great video, and that's what kind of made me a little magnet towards you. And I just want to point out what about the video kind of got me. And then you can tell us more about yourself and what you do. But the video you had this guy in this awesome leotard. He looked very good in the leotard, by the way.
We called it the fascia suit. Yes.
The fascia suit. And when you were able to show with that kind of how if one side is tight, it kind of raises it up. One of the things that I'm really enjoying, and I don't know about you, about being a massage therapist right now, when fascia is kind of becoming a thing that people are aware of, is that little, like that raising of that tightening of the fascia on one side of the body can throw everything off. Yeah. And you did a great job demonstrating that. I'm actually going to post that link so that people can check that out, because I never saw anything like that before. So tell us everything, Dina. Tell us everything.
Honestly, we base some of our work. So we specialize, my company is Sterling Structural Therapy. We specialize in dealing with chronic pain population. And when Tom Myers first started to come out with anatomy trains and all of that, I went and I'm love learning. So went and took that, and it was like major light bulbs, because I've been working with people with chronic pain 13 years at that point. I never even heard the word fascia, which is slightly ridiculous. So then we started to really be able to understand how come we've got a person that, you know, there's immobility, let's say in this shoulder over here, but what we kept seeing is this weird restriction over, you know, on the other side. And like, it didn't make sense, because what muscle in the rotator cuff attaches to, okay. So the brilliance of anatomy trains, right? All of that brilliant work by Ida Rolf, who, I don't know, she picked this stuff. She started this like out of the ether. There wasn't even any research, right? And I studied with Gil Headley also. Again,
wow,
just,
cool.
Oh God,
yes.
Brilliant. Yes. So we've done dissection courses with Gil Headley and with Tom Myers, and it's a much better way to evaluate dysfunction and a much better lens to look at human anatomy. And again, you know, so many people don't understand why they feel better after a massage. I'm like, right? So some of it is the nervous system, the relaxation, but some of it is just, hey, it's going to loosen up that whole fascia suit, and you walk out and you're like, oh my God, I can breathe better. I can stand up taller. Oh, I can move my, you know, my mirror up, and like, oh, my shoulder doesn't hurt when I do that, right? Like, I wonder why. Oh, now we know why. So when we did that fascia suit video that's gone viral on YouTube, cool. And viral on YouTube, and recently viral on TikTok, I experiment. So my whole purpose was, how can I help take fascia out of the alternative closet? Okay. So how come only at 13 years of working with people in chronic pain, I heard the word fascia, and I'm digging into it. I'm like, Rolfing's existed since then. How come it's like relegated to just this? We need to integrate both. And then how can I help people understand that even though they feel it here, it might be like on the left calf over there, or in the right hip over here, right? So if I, you know yourself when you've got like anatomy trains charts as decor in your, okay. So, right, the analogy of the fascia suit is that it is a system. And if you have a problem over here, it could be coming from here or from here, right? So that is a whole new way. And that's why I'm, you know, so thankful for all the research that's being done, because without that, we would still see these things. Like, as massage therapists, I've done manual. I press over here, and the person's like, oh my God, I feel it in the back of, I'm on their foot. No, like I feel it in the back of my head. And I'm like, early on, what? Like, that's strange. No, it is not strange. Okay. They are feeling the pull, and what I'm doing over here is affecting here. So
since we're kind of on the same page with Tom Myers, I just took a dissection class of his online. And for me, it was a huge relief because well, even still, I will say it out loud. You see on paper the many layers of fascia and the different kinds of fascia. But once you pull back the skin, which is in its own structure of holding someone up itself, and then just layer after layer after layer after layer, and then you get muscle, and then I mean, it's so complicated beneath the skin that I almost now, I don't know about you, I see anatomy charts as like an abstract drawing.
It is, and
to a degree.
so for us to understand, okay, here's the good news. When
Tell me
you
the good
say,
news,
Dana,
Dana.
cervical spine or suboccipitals, I don't think you're dealing with someone's knee. That's good. But we forget, right? And we start to think it's just the suboccipitals, right? Just the cervical. It's like, what do you mean it's just a cervical? Like, good luck leaving your cervical spine in the living room and walking over to make yourself a sandwich without it. Like, it's not doable, right? So that was the beauty of anatomy trains, bringing that all together. And not just that, also the superficial fascia when you see in dissection, not just so these are the charts of fascia profunda, right? The deep connective tissue, right? Superficial fascia. When you're doing manual, what do we think we're touching? Okay, and newer research, about 6-7 years old, says that the proprioceptors that tell the deep fascial structures how much tension to hold are subcutaneous. So when you're working and mobilizing that skin and superficial fascial layer, you're having a massive effect all the way down to how the person holds themselves, right? Yeah. And by the way, this is why we don't believe in fascia mashing. That's what we call it. Like, we don't believe in eliciting pain, working in a way that we stay below pain threshold to mobilize that, to create the change, and not that whole, like, I'm going to just dig till kingdom come, right? By the way, that, of course, you well know, Diane, some people, you can just put full body weight on like this. They're like, oh, that feels great. It's not eliciting pain for them. Some people, you touch them like this and they're going to jump off the table. It's respecting the system in front of you, right? And what it needs. So, yeah.
I think would you say it's like a guarding, some people are more guarded maybe. Or
guarded, the system is more unstable. So the populations we work with, I like say, no one reaches out to us because they're feeling great, Diane. Okay, and usually they're not feeling great, not just for 6 months. Like, the common is years, decades of this stuff. So yes, those are amped up systems, because good luck living in constant daily pain, oscillating constant daily pain, and not being in sympathetic fight and flight mode.
Right.
Okay, how is that possible, right? So yeah, you have to respect that. So we do a lot of, these days we do a ton of our work virtually. And we've worked virtually with people off continent that couldn't travel to us for 2 years now. But so we teach them to do certain things essentially. And then we work on the remodeling aspect of fascia, which is how we sit, how we stand, all of that, right? Because here's the example. Someone will tell me, Dan, I went and I got a massage and I felt great. But 24 hours later, I don't know why I'm back in pain. And I'm like, can you see how you're standing? Like, if you don't change the habit, massage is just the window of opportunity for change. Then you have to actually change how you live in your body.
Yes. So we just jumped right in because I got excited.
Yeah, sorry. I like to drink from the fire hose, and I like to spew out the information like a fire hose.
Tell us a little bit more about what you do and your model and what you've created, and what people would expect signing up, say, for a session with you, and kind of how you view things.
So we offer a complimentary 45-minute assessment. And this is the way, and we've been doing that for 2.5 years, even for people who used to fly in, back when we used to do that, to work with us. We test to see if we can produce results. If we can, we do a visual assessment, very gentle movements, standing, walking, sitting, a little bit of range of motion. And then we test things. And if we can produce a drop in pain and discomfort symptoms by 25 to 75%, the person is a candidate for treatment. So it's very, very results oriented. It's not sign up and maybe this will work. So that part I love, because we can stay in integrity with, I call it a vulnerable public segment of the population, right? Chronic pain. The way we do it. So we combined two main things are the theory piece of it, which is, thank you, Tom Myers and Ida Rolf and Gil Headley and all the Fascia Institute and all the stuff that have done all this research. Because if we didn't have this point of view of the system, good luck seeing the freaking forest for the trees. Okay, so that's number one. The distinguishing factor, there could be someone in Australia doing it that I don't know of, and if so, I'd love to talk to them, but that so far I know is just unique to our approach. We use the principle of chirality. So chirality exists all the way in cells, in molecules, and exists in your own body. If you hold your hands like this, that is a chiral pattern. That means they are mirror images of each other, but they're asymmetrical, which means if I try to put my right hand into my left glove, it's not going to work. We discern basically the asymmetry of the person coming in, their system, not, oh, between your right shoulder and your left shoulder, between your right hip and your ASIS and your no, we literally step back and see the big asymmetry presented in that system. We go after correcting it, and the results speak for themselves. So that is how we approach it. Now, the other part is we give them ways to correct it using little dog chew toy that we actually use as a way to give them, to coach them to do very gentle fascia release, specific MET techniques and all that kind of stuff. And the other part is occupational therapy on steroids, Diane. It is, I tell clients once they qualify physically, like they're like, oh my God, I was in spasms. I'm sitting here right now. You just did 2 tests. I'm not in spasms. Like, okay, this works. I literally tell them, do not sign up with us if you don't want to change. And I mean, change the way you sit to stand, stand to sit, stand, walk, get in and out of bed, sleep, pick up something off the floor. It's the daily living that you've got to change the adaptation that these people have, right? Usually done to survive, usually around trauma, surgery, those kind of things. But those compensations are survival, but they're not making them thrive. They're hurting them. So it's about changing that. Okay. So that's my long elevator speech. No.
No, I love it. You said some things to me that stood out. And one was that chronic pain, sometimes people in that position are vulnerable. Can you just talk a little bit more about your experience with that? Because I think that goes, it's almost like sometimes massage therapists are like, get in here, let's get this done, I can fix you. But the person, if they're coming, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, like I'm like, right, like that whole, by the way, I've done it, I've been there, bought the t-shirt, doesn't work. Okay. Like we've all been in, like, I got this, right? And I'm just gonna like, and then the person, you're not listening to the response. It's, first of all, it's a human being. And a human being is a system of systems with emotions and fears and all of that stuff. So we make sure there's also, when you come to see us, I match the person based on personality to the therapist I think would serve them best, so they can connect with, to feel safe, quite frankly. Okay. And are you familiar with Kelly McGonigal's TED Talk about stress? Make friends with stress. Look it up. Great TED Talk. Because there's, how much language are you hearing out there about like you shouldn't be stressed and you should avoid stress and stress, right? So here's the thing. Yes, constant sympathetic activation and anxiety. No, very bad. Of course. I mean, I cannot disagree. But Diane, show me a life without stress.
Or I will throw in the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh, okay, right? Right? Because that's the beauty of it. It's like life's going to happen. Figure out how to deal with it. Beautiful title, very apt way of looking at it. We want resilience. So what we work with our clients is to create a more, right? Again, me and my, sorry.
No,
it's my favorite topic, right? So a more resilient system, right? Because on a good day, right, we're like a tensegrity model and we've got bounce and bend and right? But if we're completely messed up, lifting a sock, right? And the whole system goes like this. Was it the sock? No, we need to make the system more balanced, more resilient. Likewise with this and this, okay?
Because if you're like this, everything's thrown off and you're thinking.
Yep.
Everything emotionally.
Absolutely. I see it as a version of fetal curl to one side. I'm not joking. Okay, kind of that right, the fight and flight response. Okay, so there's actual data that flexion posture is associated with negative affect, with depression, with anxiety. Okay. So, I mean, and everybody like that's watching this, just give it a shot for a second. Sorry for asking. Like, just kind of like stand like this and close your shoulders and try to smile at the same time. It's going to feel fake as hell. Okay. As opposed to like lift it here and then try to smile, and it's almost natural. So, holding a pencil between your teeth, because it activates the smile muscles, actually releases positive like thought hormones like in our body. It's the way we hold ourselves really matter. It's just not, you can't just like, I'm going to think this away. You also have to adjust your structure, take care of your
Right.
body. You're like, you are a body. Okay. You can't just go and meditate it away while being over here and not taking care of yourself. Good luck. Okay.
I like
That's
that.
a rare form of torture.
You can't think your way into being better. There has to be action.
Thank you. And by the way, you can't just ignore the mind, but it's not, it's just the mind, Diane. It's
Yes.
just the body, Diane. Like, again, system, interaction between everything, right?
And I think another key point that you made that I love, and I think is not talked about enough, is oh no, you're not going to come to Dana and we're not going to just all of a sudden be like, boop, you're better. You are going to have
Magic
to
wand.
change. The client has to change. And I think too, would you go as far to say too, though, that us as the person working on the person has to understand what that change feels like and looks like ourselves too, to a degree.
100. So here's the thing. Here's a question. Can you take people and lead people to where you have not gone yourself?
No.
No, so you have to live it. Otherwise, you're like, right? I think it would be the tantamount to like, Diane Posh is really important. Like, I'm really good. No, and you also have to understand the difficulty of it, because change, of course, people want the change. And if you like look at our reviews, like we have video testimonials, we have Google reviews. The results are miraculous. It does not happen through miracles. It happens through, I call our clients courageous. They dare to change.
Okay? And it's not easy. It's not easy because you're not changing just one part of yourself. You're changing your entire being.
Yep.
It's like a river, a river flows down and it's flowing, the river's going. And then you can change the flow of the river, but it takes, it doesn't just change.
No, because there's an established current and you're like, hi, over here. And your body's like, I've been doing this for 40, 50, 60, whatever years. And you're like, no, over here, this hurts you, right? And I'm going to quote, one of our therapists, Judah, she's, expert at this. She's been doing this for 9 years with me. She says, people really do need to they need to be in pain in order to do this work, because no one's going to go through this work without that kind of, right, drive. It's a lot. It's an overhaul of, hey, Diane, everything that you don't think about, the way you breathing patterns, like we work on that, like standing, sleeping, and that we're going to change all of that. Good. All right. Should be easy, right?
There aren't that many people out there that breathe consistently.
So we did 2 videos specifically because this is something we teach literally every single client, but they're public service announcements. So one of them is actually a hand mudra from yoga that helps you access diaphragmatic breath. It's like a hack. By the way, I don't know why it works, which drives me up the wall. I don't care. It works. It produces results over and over again. And the other one is more nose breathing. Nose breathing is associated with parasympathetic, where if you've seen someone have an anxiety attack, what do? Mouth breathe? That's like, everyone that's watching this, notice, are you nose breathing or mouth breathing right now? And try to keep mouth closed and nose breathe. And if you feel a little bit of a panic attack when you try to do it, it means you want to look up Buteyko breathing or all those kind of techniques to try to help, because it'll literally use the autonomic nervous system, right? The breathing to start to shift that state. So very important.
You know what I'm realizing, Dana? I think we need to maybe have you back on the talk more. And I'm gonna put all your information above our interview, so people should definitely check you out. You have a beautiful website. I'm also going to put the link to that famous YouTube video, only because I myself, when I watched that, I was like, this is amazing. This is something I've been looking for. It was a way of explaining it that I haven't seen yet. So I definitely want to encourage everyone, just give her another million like looks at this video, because
Spread
it's
the knowledge,
wonderful.
people, spread the knowledge.
It's so wonderful. So is there anything, any words of wisdom or anything you want to leave us with?
You know what? More nose breathing and chest up. Thank you, Diane. Just saying. Oh no, everyone would have less aches and pains if they did more nose breathing, and think of just don't let the body collapse towards those laptops as much. Public service announcement, Diane.
I have one too, because a lot of people breathe with their chest, but you also have to breathe with your back because your lungs are 3-dimensional. So you got to fill up the whole lung. Fill up the whole lung.
Lateral breathing is associated, right, with that parasympathetic activation, and that accessory breath you're talking about is the fight and flight. Absolutely. Now, again, right, if we are collapsing, you're squishing your breathing diaphragm, and it's just going to go up here. So, and that will allow all of that to actually work. Yeah.
Woo!
All right. Thank you so much, Diane. It's such a pleasure talking to you. You're awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful.